ESPN's coverage of the 1994 Little League World Series is brought to you by Foot Locker, the world's most complete athletic footwear, where it all begins. There are the many fans from Middleborough, Massachusetts, a township of only 18,000 in their first ever Little League World Series, located about an hour from Foxborough, home of the New England Patriots. And the starting lineups that will be facing the tall right-hander Paul Wisher, who will be on the mound for the South today. Brandon Soule will lead off and play shortstop. In right field, Christian Perry. Kevin Brower will hit third and pitch. Brandon Brower, his bigger brother, will be over at first. They are identical twins, but Brandon's a little larger. Darrell Bradford will be behind the plate and hitting fifth. John Hebert will hit sixth and play left. Joe Moles will be at third base, hitting seventh. Pat Hannon will be the second baseman, hitting eighth, and Jacob Cutsey will be in center field in the ninth hole.
And defensively for the South, catching Malatino at first base, Grant. Second base, Sprato, shortstop, Blair, and third base, Carrero. In the outfield from left to right, Andrews, Miller, and Fackner.
A good crowd on hand for this qualifying round one game. Youngsters between the ages of 10 and 13. You can turn 13 years of age by August 1st and still be eligible to compete. The intensity says it all. For many of these youngsters, this is the biggest week of their lives.
And the biggest moment, Tim. You can see it in their faces. A little bit of nervousness this first round game.
Brandon Soule will lead it off. Has some surprising power for a leadoff guy at the Little League level. And the first pitch is fouled back our way. Wisher, who is the starting pitcher today, looks at a young man that at age 12 has Ken Griffey Jr. as his idol. We'll see that a lot today.
We have our little questionnaires by the youngsters, and we'll mention it from time to time, some of their favorite movies and musicians and superstitions.
Some of them are very interesting.
That's right. We got some cute ones.
Indeed. It is a symmetrical outfield, 204 all the way across the board, and we did have a lot of rain last night. The outfield is very soft, and we might see some bunts today down that third base side.
We talked before about the infield. Looks a lot like Wrigley Field at the Chicago Cubs, which a lot of times you'd lose the ball in the infield in the grass. This is our overhead cam. We get a good idea of balls over the plate. That catches the corner.
Brandon Soule's parents look on, and he takes strike three. So Wisher gets underway. Off-speed breaking ball that had him fooled. That's the way it goes, says Dad.
Let's take a look at this high curveball. Comes up, just breaks down through the top of the strike zone, which is the underarm area.
Left hand hitting Christian Perry, the right fielder, stands in. Fouled off the third base side. Not enough room for Carrero to get to it. Beautiful scene here in South Williamsport. Magnificent facility here. They have their museum and Hall of Fame right across the street. The 0-1 pitch misses, and the count is 1-1 to Christian Perry.
Tim, we've seen a few breaking balls to the first two batters, and we'll talk about that philosophy. Some managers and coaches believe that a youngster at the age of 11 or 12 should throw predominantly fastballs and no breaking pitches. Others believe that it's okay to put a little bit of stress on the elbow for the breaking balls, and we'll talk about that philosophy today and throughout the week. Let's take a look from our overhead camera. And we'll see in just a second.
Three, and again, it's the breaking ball on the outside portion of the plate. Two down. Wisher has a nice fastball, a curveball that breaks off the table in a straight change.
Already the strike zone is being established as pretty wide and pretty high, too. It's a full strike zone to this first group of hitters.
Kevin Brower, between he and his brother Brandon, 16 home runs in 14 games played in the Little League World Series tournament. That in itself speaks volumes.
This middle part of the order for the East, good power, good-sized youngsters.
The 0-1. It has to be tough for these youngsters to just get their feet wet early to play that first game.
That pitch right over the center of the plate.
And he swung at a ball. Wisher staying out in front as you look at the manager of this fine team from the South, Jim Hamilton. He struck out the side. That's not bad.
Established a fastball, changeup, and curveball.
Nothing doing in the first half of qualifying round game 1 here at the Little League World Series. Right-hander Kevin Brower on the mound for the East out of Middleborough, Massachusetts. Will be facing Patrick Malatino, who will lead off and be behind the plate for the South. Mark Fackner will hit second and right field. Ethan Lair will hit third and play shortstop. Mike Fredo, the second baseman, will hit cleanup. Matt Andrews bats fifth and plays left field. Timmy Grant will be at first base hitting sixth. Miller will be hitting seventh and playing center field. Carrero bats eighth. He's the third baseman. And the pitcher, Paul Wisher, will be in the ninth hole.
And defensively for the Middleborough, Massachusetts East team, catching Bradford, first base, Brower, second base, Hannon, Saul at shortstop, and Mall at third base. Hebert, Cutsey, and Perry in the outfield. And pitching, Brower.
Second base.
Lamonti Stadium, site of this event, and for 32 years it's been televised, but never before have all of the games involving United States teams been witnessed by the viewing public. A great week for you to enjoy baseball at its purest form.
And a perfect time. Unfortunately, there's a major league strike, and unfortunately for us, I think a lot of people are going to be watching this Little League World Series to get their fix of baseball while the big guys are playing golf.
And the fans at Lamonti Stadium will enjoy it. Here's Patrick Malatino leading it off. Patrick's mom, Debbie, looking on anxiously. Boy, decked out with the Oakleys. Love the shades.
And the baseball earring.
Goes for some high heat, and it's 0-1.
Tim, what you'll see the first few innings, and we noticed it in the first international game, is the pitchers, if they're going to be wild, they be wild high. They'll be overthrowing a little bit because of the nervousness.
Brower has a tremendous changeup, a circle change, and it's his sucker pitch.
Take a look at the batting stance, trying to go up to get that fastball, which all of us know, even former major leaguers, can't climb the ladder on that one.
Tried to slap that one past the third baseman Moles. There's the dad, Mr. Malatino. Very rarely would you see a catcher leading off, but this young man does have some pretty good speed. And according to his coach, is the best pure swinger. He's a base hits guy, knows how to set the table, and that's why he's leading off, though he starts the game behind the plate for the South. Got a pitch up and in and served it to right. Christian Perry makes the grab. One down.
We've noticed that most of the leadoff hitters do have power. Some of the better hitters lead off the game. The coaches and managers feel that this is a way to get on base early.
Mark Fackner coming up, right fielder for this South Springfield, Virginia team. Inside out swing, fouled off the first base side.
Tim, who do you think are more nervous, the parents or the players?
I'd say the parents.
I would be.
Yeah.
I have a young son, 16 months, and I'm quite sure he's going to be a little leaguer, and I can't imagine sitting in the stands with him playing.
It's easier for me to remember, though, being a parent.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Than a player. Here's the 0-1. Just missed away. 1-1 the count.
That's like anything. If you're out there, you're active, you're into it, you're releasing that nervous energy. For parents, it's live or die with each pitch. And taking a few shots. Must be a cannon.
The 0-2. Strike 3 call. Two down.
Let's take a look at this batting style. Hands are up, good position. Little rock to get the body going. And takes the pitch right on the outside corner. Let's take a look from the overhead camera. Good shot. Here it comes. Up next.
Base hit right up the middle for Ethan Lair, the first hit of the ball game.
The icebreaker.
1 on, 2 out. Bottom of the first, no score. Middleborough, Massachusetts against Springfield, Virginia. Youngsters from Springfield are in the burnt orange, and the East team from Middleborough in the scarlet uniforms. Now the rules in Little League play, as you look at Mike Fredo, who's up, hitting cleanup, the second baseman for this club, you can't leave first base until after the ball has crossed home plate. If you do, you're out of there.
That's right.
Hence the reason Brandon Brower's not holding the runner.
And you don't see a lot of stealing. We don't expect a lot of stealing, especially in these first round games. Coaches aren't going to take too many chances. They're going to let the natural ability of the players dictate the game.
Lair down at first with the solid single to center. 2 down. We're in the bottom of the first. Tim Brando, Steve Garvey. Happy to have you with us. Into left and deep. Off the wall. Hebert will get it up and back into third. And runners are now at second and third with 2 down. Mike Fredo. It's an example of the pitch being up in the zone.
The South team has come out swinging. Good, solid swing. Look at that head down, follow through. He thinks it has a chance of going out. Good rebound off the wall. Good throw to cut off and hold the runners at second and third.
Parents are excited, and Matthew Andrews stands in. To short. Sold throw is in time. They get out of it. Kevin Brower strands 2. The youngsters from Springfield leave 2 after 2 hits. We're still scoreless. Our line score, no runs, 2 hits, no errors for Central Springfield. And Middleborough looking for an opportunity to put the ball in play. They went down swinging. The first 3 batters all strikeout victims to Paul Wisher in the top half of the first. Wisher, the right-hander, on the mound for the South. And Brandon Brower, the first baseman, identical twin brother of starting pitcher Kevin Brower, stands in. One of the bigger players on this club. 5'7", 147 pounds.
And Tim, if the East learned anything from the first inning, it was that Wisher is going to mix up his pitches. He used a fastball, curveball, and changeup. Struck out the side in the first inning. So we'll see how the East adjusts.
Ground ball to short. Lair is up with it. And Brower's safe at first. They say Timmy Grant lifted his foot at first base. First base umpire Bill Mayo making the call.
They gave him a hit on it. Let's take a look at the throw at first. The glove, the foot is, looks like it's on there. Looks like the ball, the foot is on the bag. Let's take another look.
I think he legitimately beat it.
Nice stretch. Ball's in there. He's out. Now, is the heel off the bag? I think it's on.
Yeah, I do too. At first glance, it appeared that he may have just beaten it, but after that replay, first basemen are supposed to get those calls, aren't they?
That's right.
Darrell Bradford stands in.
Catch it with confidence.
Another off-speed pitch, down and away, and Wisher has been awfully effective at keeping the ball down here in the early going.
We talked about the pitchers, if they're going to be wild, they'll be wild high, but Wisher has good command of all the pitches and good location.
To third, Carrero. They get the lead runner as Roberto Carrero. They call him Hoover after the vacuum cleaner at the regionals. Comes up with a nice slick play. Almost the double play ball here.
Nice turn at second. Speedy runner doesn't get the double play, but Carrero did an excellent job of starting the initial phase by getting the put out at second.
John Hebert stands in. Left fielder. It's a line drive hitter in the ball game for his offense. Takes the strike on the outside corner at the knees. 1-1 the count.
We'll see a variety of different stances. Different teams have different philosophies about making contact. This is a good closed stance. Good hitting position.
Chop foul, 1-2.
Both teams, Tim, look calm at this point, nice and relaxed into the game now. We talked about character. Both teams going through the losers bracket, so these teams are aggressive, confident.
Changing speeds again. Wisher very effective in the early going.
Here's Wisher focusing on the catcher's mitt. Curveball. The batter pulls his body and head out, which means there's no way he's going to make contact.
Youngsters in the fenced-in dugout looking on with grand anticipation. Bradford's down at first with 2 down, and Joe Moles up. Left-hand hitting third baseman. Coming off a tremendous regional. He had a double that helped this Massachusetts team beat New Jersey. Also had a home run in the same game.
Tim, in our questionnaires, a lot of the kids like the movie Ace Ventura with Jim Carrey. That was one of those sleeper movies that I think really appealed to the kids all over.
When they mention their favorite musical groups, I really know I'm in trouble.
The Squashed Pumpkins and Nirvana I've heard of.
Yeah.
Squashed Pumpkins.
I had no idea that at 38 I was that out of it musically until I read the questionnaires.
Have they ever heard of Sinatra?
There's that off-speed pitch again. That's a straight change, it appears, Steve.
Not only is Wisher having command of 3 pitches, but different release points. 3/4, sidearm.
The 1-2. Foul tip. Malatino not able to handle it.
Hall doing a good job of keeping that front shoulder in. Let's take a look. Nice cut. Ball a little bit up. Gets a piece of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There it is. Straight change. Dropping off the table. And no way Moles could catch up to that one. Already 5 strikeouts for Wisher. Another anniversary, this one for Central Springfield, the 40th anniversary for that particular district, and they're very proud to be here. You know, you think about southern teams. I know you hail from the Tampa area. For so many years, we've seen teams from Florida come through, and that's who Virginia had to beat. They had to knock off Florida in consecutive games to make it to this Little League World Series.
Well, my hometown Tampa has sent a number of teams through the years, Belmont Heights and North Side, and we think of the South as being the deep South, but Virginia is in that region. And like we said before, an upset winner, but with a lot of character coming through that losers bracket.
like no other major event you'll see televised, because so many people in the crowd have such a great stake in what's transpiring.
This is one big family, worldwide family.
Timmy Grant with a bouncing ball to third. Moles his throw in time. Nice play. Dealing with a slow track and then on his heels making the throw.
Slow track, poor footing. But Moles doing a very good job of maintaining his balance and a good strong arm from really a stationary position.
Here's Eric Miller, center fielder for Central Springfield, Virginia. Golfs that one into left, into the gap and by Hebert. Miller chugs in and is in standing at second.
Here's a good-looking left-handed hitter. Goes down for it, slices the ball to left center, takes a quick look and knows that I got two in my sights. Takes a little bite and relayed in. Standing double.
Roberto Carrero with that nice first step into the ball. Fouls it away, 0-1. Carrero, 5 feet tall, 137 pounds. As you look at Eric Miller, pumped up and on second.
Good-looking youngster. We'll talk about the eyes of these young athletes. You can always see the intensity in the eyes.
Strike call on the outside corner at the knees, 0-2.
Sometimes you can see a little bit of nervousness, other times concentration. Carrero, a couple of good fielding plays already. Miller at second. Focusing in, talking to him a little bit on the mound.
Purpose pitch, up around the eyes.
Just wanted to let you know I'm out here pitch. From our overhead cam. It's about helmet high. Split the helmet instead of home plate.
A ball and 2 strikes to Roberto Carrero. Got him. He too took something off it. Brower, a very effective circle change. Had no idea that youngsters at this age had refined that kind of element of pitching, but they had.
Well, with this slow-mo camera, we can see the spin of the ball much better than we ever could. And that ball was in on the hands. Good tailing pitch.
This is Wisher, starting pitcher for the Virginians. And his counterpart, Brower, looks in. 2 down and 1 on. Grounded to second. Hannon makes the play and the inning is over. So Springfield, Virginia again leaves one stranded after the double by Miller. Brower again gets out of it. We've played 2 in South Williamsport. Little League World Series action continues live tonight on ESPN2. Teams from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota and Northridge, California. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You will see your first female Little Leaguer in that game. All here from South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Turning out to be a rather comfortable afternoon. Skies beginning to clear somewhat overhead. We're anticipating outstanding weather for the remainder of the week, although this particular area in the Susquehanna Valley was drenched overnight, and that's the reason we were a little late getting on the air with this game, because the first game was pushed back from an 11 Eastern time start, or from a 10 Eastern time start to 11. Everybody having a good time on the grassy knoll just beyond the outfield.
Baseball, hot dogs, and kids.
That's right.
What a trio.
Only a few spots where you can get it. We're happy to be in one of them.
It's a pleasure.
Pat Hannon will lead it off against Wisher, and he serves up a fastball up around the eyes, 1-0.
Just about time for something to happen, Tim. Both teams settling in now and have their focus and concentration.
So oftentimes we had an opportunity to talk with Steve McKenna, who's the manager of this club down on the third base side. I asked him about Hannon, and he said, well, he's a great fielder. Hitting in the 8th hole, what does that tell you? generally in these games, it's the 8th hole hitters that are the stars once you get to this level, once you get to a Little League World Series.
Usually not big average hitters, but seem to come up with men on base and get a hit here or there and end up being the heroes.
The 2-1 from Paul Wisher. He had visions of grandeur with that swing.
Hannon's taken a little technique page out of the book of some major leaguers, lifting that front foot up a little bit and generating some power. Good, slightly close, stands good position, well balanced, lifts that leg up. That's a good way to do it, to get your body movement into it, the lower legs into it. Bat flat, lifts it up, gets the body moving, takes the pitch.
Count is full to him. Nice eye for Hannon, and he's awarded the base on ball.
First miss by Wisher. Good command of the strike zone to this point. Let's take a look. There's the focus in the eyes. Little curveball down, definitely a ball, and he walks. Let's look from over the plate. Ball is over the plate, but too low.
The first walk surrendered by Wisher, and here's Jake Cutsey, the 9th hole hitter, playing center field with Pat Hannon aboard, and he takes the ball outside, 1-0. Cutsey is the smallest player on the team. His grandma and great-grandmother are here today to watch him play. Into left, and it drops in right in front of Matt Andrews, and the throw not in time. That one fooled Andrews. At first, I really believe he thought the ball was going foul. It was off the end of the bat, and he just had a late start. He knows he should have come up with it. But it's a very slow track out there, so if you break late, you're in trouble today.
Normally on a dry field, he would have been able to dive farther and get the ball, but on a slow, muddy field, his cleats caught, and the runner had to wait and see if the ball was caught. He makes a great effort to try to get the ball. See, his knee hits first, which stops him. Mud on the ball, tosses it in, close play at second, but he's safe.
And how about that? The 8th and 9th hole hitters set the table for the top of the order. Here's Brandon Soule. Boy, I love the action from our home plate umpire today, Wilfredo Alicea. He's letting us know, folks, whether it's a ball, strike, or foul. Alicea is our home plate umpire.
Tim, the good ones do that. They communicate with not only the players on the field, but the fans, and it helps us guys out, too.
0-1 to the leadoff man, Brandon Soule. Puts it down on the first base side. Only play to first, and they get it. But only barely. So a nice sacrifice bunt from Brandon Soule. And the runners move up to second and third.
Good job of moving the runners over. Because of the muddy clay, the ball's going to die. After it goes over, gets the ball. Nice throw to first and a bang-bang play. One away.
Christian Perry, perfect situation for a second hole hitter, left-handed. You hope to take the ball into right field and drive in a couple of runs. He does take it to the right side and does drive home 1 run. So he grounds out to Fredo, but the run scores, and it's 1-0. Middleborough, Massachusetts has the lead.
Good job of strategy by the East, getting the runners over with nobody out on the sacrifice bunt, and then hitting the ball to an infield play back to advance the runner from third to break the ice. The East goes up 1-0 in the top of the third.
All he wanted to do was hit it to the right side of the infield.
That's team play.
He'll be patted on the back, much like a double off the wall once he gets in there. Kevin Brower takes a strike.
Runner in third waits till the ball's hit. Then he takes off, head down, sprinting towards home plate. Hannon scores.
0-1 the count to Brower with the runner still at third and 2 down. In the dirt and blocked beautifully by Malatino. Just keep it in front of you.
Valentino puts a shoulder into that one. Learning at a young age to sacrifice his body. Short one up, stops it with a rib cage. Lots of guts on that one.
The 1-1 from Ruisher. Off the end of the bat to the vacuum cleaner. Roberto Carrero easily disposes of Brower, and the inning is over. But not before the East get a run as the 8th and 9th hole hitters do their job, and they manufacture a run with a sacrifice bunt and more. We welcome you back to South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, home of the Little League World Series, qualifying round 1 game in the United States pool. Middleborough, Massachusetts, taking on Central Springfield, Virginia. It's a 1-0 ball game as Middleborough managed to, as we mentioned going to break, manufacture themselves a run with the help of a base on balls and a looping double to left.
Good looking freckles right there.
Jim Hamilton coaching at third base is Mike today, so we'll be able to hear.
Hey, Patrick, that's what he gave you last time. Keep an eye out.
Coach is going over the sequence, Tim, telling his hitter, remember the sequence that he pitched to you last time.
Malatino, the catcher, over to short. Soul makes the throw in time, one down.
The virtues of a tall first baseman. That throw is a little high, but good tall first baseman. Stretching up there. I envy him. Let's take a look at this pitch. Right over the plate. He fights it off to shortstop. Good sound fundamentals.
Tyler Leroy is coming to the game for John Hebert out in left field in this half inning. And Mark Fackner looks at a strike in the count. 1-1. Fackner struck out his first time.
Fackner moving around in the batter's box a little bit. Not the ultimate stance to have. Starts out good, slightly closed. Let's watch him move around. Starts to back up and lift the leg up, which gives the whole outside part of the plate to the pitcher.
Every time I see that, and there are a few players at the major league level that do it, have a little happy feet and are usually moving in on the plate. You figure a pitcher should just bust him inside and he'd be able to get him.
See, this is a little bit of subconscious fear of the ball right here when you take about 4 or 5 inches away when you're stepping back like that, which gives the whole outside part of the plate. If you're a smart catcher or pitcher, you'll see that. Let's take a look at the feet. Backs up a little bit. Take a look at see, backs up just a little bit, stays in a little better that time, but still giving away the whole half of the outside part of the plate.
May have noticed Brandon Brower on the pitch when the count was 2-2, slipped when coming off the mound. When you come off the mound, you're actually right on the grass, right on that cutting area of the grass meeting the dirt, and it is slippery there.
3-2 count. Stays in better this time. Good eye. Ends up at first base with the walk. He writes him, a taller pitcher is going to land almost on the grass because of the short space between the pitching rubber and the grass, which could cause him to slip and therefore keep the ball up.
1 out, 1 on, and here's Lair. Ball outside, 1-0. Lair had a solid single to center, which was followed by a double by Fredo. But they were left stranded when Andrews grounded out. They have done, the grounds crew, an outstanding job of preparing this field as best they could, given the circumstances they've had to deal with. And the 2-0 pitch is in there. 2 balls and a strike to Ethan Lair.
Tim, they did a good job of rolling the field, which forces the ground to harden as it dries.
Ethan Lair's mom, Leslie, is there to watch. Dad George is one of the coaches on this club.
Leslie's focused on this.
Yeah. George.
Excuse me, she's been through it before, though.
Yeah.
You can tell. This
She
is
sure
the
has.
first time.
The 3-1. To short, could be 2. There's 1. The throw, not in time, and a pretty good job by Fackner of breaking up that double play, rolling in to second as Hannon was trying to pivot and turn the double play.
He has good contact. Hard hit ball to shortstop. Nice underhand toss. Gets rid of it pretty good. Because of a 60-foot space between home and first, he beats it out quickly.
And that tall Fackner youngster just decided to get out of the baseline. Give him something to think about.
It's a good idea when it's a hard hit ball.
Mike Fredo swings and misses. Strike 1 to Fredo. He doubled off the left field wall, threatened to take it out of the ballpark in the first.
Brower with his best fastball of the game so far. Good rising fastball. Followed by a backup curveball. Pretty good sequence, Tim.
The thing you have to like about these youngsters, both Wisher and Kevin Brower, is as they change speeds, they're also changing location.
3 keys to pitching: speed, location, and angle.
In on the hands, he jammed him. And Fredo goes down swinging. The inning is over. So Brower gets out of it. It's still 1-0, the East. Springfield, Virginia has come up with more hits, but Middleborough, Massachusetts has the run on 1 hit as we move to the top half of the 4th inning here at the Little League World Series. Well, today and tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time, you'll be able to see the Fred Meyer Challenge live on ESPN. Paul Azinger, Fred Couples, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and on the celebrity side, Clint Eastwood, DJ Carlissimo, newly of the Portland area, will be on hand as the host. Peter Jacobson welcomes everyone into the Fred Meyer Challenge.
Then we can see some of the mud that builds up on the cleats of these young players. Still hasn't quite dried out from the evening and morning rains here in South Williamsport.
Paul Wisher, tall right-hander on the mound against Brandon Brower. Brother of Kevin, first baseman for this club. Identical twin, as we mentioned earlier. Reached on an error his first time.
Wisher still with a good command of his pitches. He makes a mistake, it's down, which is good. Take a look. Lifts the leg up a little, opens the hips up a little too soon and brings the head out. He's got to keep that head. Let's take a look. As his catcher, keep the catcher's mask low, bounces off the catcher's mask. Again, Wisher, if he makes a mistake, keeps it low.
Alatino's taken one in the armpit and now the head. But he's kept them in front of him when men were on base.
Lost a couple of freckles on that last one, Tim, but kept it in front of him. Wisher a little wild now. He's starting to throw the ball about 44 feet instead of 46 feet. There he is.
The aforementioned freckles.
I think I had freckles like that when I was his age. There's four missing on the left side, I think. Looking over.
Yeah, I think we'd call those freckles something else now, right?
Angel kisses. That's what happens when you have 5 daughters. They turn into angel kisses.
And he walks him. So Brower aboard with a base on balls here in the 4th. And you'll recall it was Brower that surrendered the base on balls that set the table for the 1 run scored for the youngsters from Virginia. So those free passes can really hurt you. Jim Hamilton is out to talk with his pitcher.
Throwing too many curveballs now, Tim. He's
Just relax and doing fine, okay? You got a team behind you. Let's get out here and let's just pitch your game, okay?
Settle him down. He's been at it for 26 years, 16 years at the Little League level. And he told me before the game that this was the first year in more than a half dozen that he had not had one of his sons playing for him. His sons, Dusty and Shane, were on this team a year ago. Both are all-stars at the Babe Ruth level now.
Tim, this is what's happening with Wisher. He was striking out the opposition with curveballs. Now he's started to throw too many of them. He's got to reestablish the fastball and get some strikes.
Darrell Bradford looks at a ball low, and now Brower will move down to second, as Malatino could not gain control of it in time.
He's holding on to that breaking ball too long. That's why he's got to go back to the fastball, work it in the zone. He's got a good fastball, about 62 miles per hour from that 46 home plate to rubber distance. Let's look at the call now. It's straight fastball. See, he's got the good velocity. Just started to favor the breaking pitch too much. Let's take a look at the signaling. Looks to his coach. 3 looks like it could be the changeup.
Nice idea. Malatino calling a pretty good game. Well set up.
A little bit of a backup curve changeup that time. Good pitch by Wisher. You see the rotation. It is a backup curve. Let's see if it's over the plate. It is. Catches the inside corner by a ball.
Tyler Leroy in his first at-bat in the game for John Hebert, who started the game in left field.
Leroy very aggressive at the plate. He's hitterish, as they say. Moves the bat around.
1 out and 1 on. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. Tyler Leroy with his dad looking on.
Shoulder back.
And the winner of this game tonight meets the winner of tonight's U.S. Central, which is Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. They'll play the West, Northridge, California, in a game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The winners of both of those, the game tonight.
Last pitch was 61 miles per hour. And remember, from 46.6 versus 60 feet 6, I would imagine that's up around 80 to 85 miles per hour if you were to equate the difference from mound to home plate.
You think about 25% more, you're talking in the 70s, low 80s.
Tyler Leroy goes down, but Brower moves up to third as it got away from Malatino again. Leroy couldn't lay off that breaking ball down in the dirt. Here Jim Hamilton saying, Patrick, knock it down, whatever it takes, with a runner at third.
East is in good position now because of the wildness of Wisher. Yes, he struck out 2 of the opposition, but he's been wild. A pass ball could get the run in.
Joe Moles, the left-hand hitting third baseman. Boy, it's been a rough inning and a half for Patrick Malatino.
Okay. This is why youngsters this age, they really want to be catchers, and then they find out quick how tough it is. Malatino looks for the sign. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs.
Fouled off the hands, off the third base side, and the count now is 0-2.
Hanging curveball that time, one of the best pitches to hit so far.
This youngster says he wants to meet Sean Burroughs. Boy, you remember Jeff Burroughs' son and the job he did at this Little League World Series 2 years running. Amazing story.
He's a hero to a lot of these young players.
Rounded to second. Fredo's throw is in time, and the inning is over. So Wisher battles himself a little. His dear old dad will have to wait another at bat. as the East clings to a 1-0 lead. Tim Brando along with Steve Garvey, happy to have you with us at the Little League World Series, South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The youngsters from Middleborough, Massachusetts with a 1-0 lead. They got that run in the third when the bottom of the order got things going for them. And the middle portion to the late portion of the batting order due up this inning against Kevin Brower. Both pitchers, Paul Wisher and Kevin Brower, have pitched out of some jams. In Brower's case, a couple have been left on. Wisher got out of a 2-out, 2-on jam in the second inning. Struggled a bit in the last half inning, but got through that. And Matt Andrews leading it off here in the bottom of the fourth.
Tim, this is where we should see some scoring now. The players have batted around at least once. They've seen the pitcher, seen what he's thrown. They should feel more comfortable and take more aggressive swing.
Andrews grounded to short his first time, and he takes the ball high. 2-0, and if the uniform tells you the meteorological story with this ballpark overnight at least, as we mentioned earlier, we expect outstanding weather for the remainder of the week. But we got off to a bit of a late start today. Chinese Taipei, a 4-1 winner over Glace Bay, Nova Scotia in the international qualifying round 1 game. Game got underway about an hour late, so we were a half hour late coming on the air today. 3-1 the count to Andrews.
Overhead cam showing this ball right on the corner, maybe a little bit of the black.
Ball 4, so Andrews is aboard with a base on balls. Timmy Grant getting the signs from his coach, Jim Hamilton. He grounded out to short his first time.
Watch Tim Grant as he squares up to bunt, gets the bat head out in front of the plate. Good technical job. Just misses it. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs. The South with a rally.
Look at the size of the strands of grass. Now, if you bunt it, even bunt it hard down the third base side, the ball will likely stop. That's a little sawed-off shot that can't be barehanded, but that sort of illustrates the point we were making. Very difficult for him to barehand that and come up in what turned out to be a swinging bunt.
The ball is not going to come up as high because it's not going to bounce off this very soggy infield. So the players are going to have to stay with it and focus right on the ball at all times. We'll take a look at this pitch. The ball's chopped. It comes up now. It doesn't come up, stays down, has a little bit of spin. He tries to barehand it, and it's too late.
Steve McKenna,
Number 1.
out to talk with his pitcher.
Running for Tim Grant, number 21.
And we're going to have a change.
Grant will re-enter. Thank you.
Grant will re-enter the game. You can have pinch runners here at the Little League World Series, and Grant will re-enter the game.
Good strategy, Tim. Faster runner. Nobody out, runners on first and second. Looks like a rally going for the South.
Ricky Kyle is the runner at first, the pinch runner.
Eric Miller with a double his first time up.
And his job is to lay one down again. And I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of it. I would suspect that given the field conditions, we'd see far more bunting than we've already seen today.
That's a little back. You got to get the head of the bat out there, and he really just fished for it instead of going after it.
And a defensive change being made. Tyler Leroy coming out of the game. Chris Nardi coming into the game, number 5.
And Miller wants to either bunt this ball towards the third base and make him fielder or pull the ball to right.
The 0-1 from Brower. Bunted foul. And the count now at 0-2. So you'd expect the bunt to be off, but you never know at this level.
I would think he'd be swinging away after hitting a double last time.
That one gets away, and the runners advance. Darrell Bradford let that one get by.
Fastball is going to be a very important part of this game. Now with no outs, Miller should move up on the plate a little bit and try to hit this ball to the right side. Fastball's up. Catcher should have had it bounced out of his glove. The runners advance to second and third.
The 1-2. Into right. He'll have to tag the runner at third. There's a base running mistake. The throw is in time. And Matt Andrews made a very big mistake. He went halfway as the catch was made by Perry. Hamilton kept saying, get back, get back, get back. And the youngster just forgot what he was supposed to do. One down.
This ball a little bit on the inside. The runner goes down at the break of the bat, gets caught in no man's land, goes back, has no time to re-tag and go home.
You saw Miller's reaction in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. Dismayed. He thought he had an RBI and should have.
Last pitch was 66 miles per hour. Good live fastball by Brower.
Roberto Carrero up with one down and two on. Boy, those kinds of base running mishaps can be the difference when you play generally one-run or two-run ball games, and both of these teams have their ace pitchers on the mound today.
It's all about concentration in this first game. That settling, nerves, concentrating on the game, not getting carried away.
The 0-2. Right to first. The runner's coming to throw. Juggled, and he's in there. Andrews scores, and we're tied at 1.
He's going all the way this time. There's a throw at home, plenty of time. Can hold on to the ball. Good job of blocking the plate. There it is, makes contact. Solid throw home. Can't find it. Runner slides in. Does he touch the plate? See the overhead camera. It's in the strike zone. Let's watch the catcher block the plate. Does a good job a la Mike Scioscia. Looks like he touches it coming in, but doesn't touch it after that.
The throw was down low where you'd want it from Brandon Brower, but it got in on the heel of the glove. I think Kevin Brower wanted another ball, and Bradford was unaware that he was throwing. They had a time called, so though it did get past him, time had been called. The nerves now becoming a major factor in this qualifying round one game here in the bottom of the fourth.
Each manager trying to keep his Chargers focused.
Still one down. There's the bunt, and it's high. Neither Brower or Bradford could get to it. And the count is 0-1. Paul Wisher on the mound today against Kevin Brower. See our line score. One out, and still runners at the corners here in the bottom of the fourth.
Tim, this is the kind of game that could be determined by the pass ball.
Yeah. The 0-1. Chop to first again. Brandon Brower comes home one more time. This time, the out is recorded. Another bang-bang play, almost an instant replay. The throw was in the same general location. This time, Bradford handled it.
Another good job by Brandon Brower fielding the ball and throwing it home to Bradford. Bradford blocks the plate again. Makes sure this time he catches the ball with two hands and makes the tag with two hands.
Actually, this time he had to dig it. He short hopped that one.
Great job.
Two down. Right back. to the pitcher Brower, and Malatino is retired, and the inning is over. But a run does score. An error and a run, and we're tied at 1.
Bob Lee live in the Sports Center newsroom at the O.J. Simpson hearing in Los Angeles. A motion filed by the prosecution in which the prosecution says preliminary DNA testing matches blood splatters at the crime scene with O.J. Simpson's blood. According to the motion filed by the prosecution and made public today, the more sophisticated method of DNA testing, RFLP testing, quote, preliminary results show the RFLP banding pattern match the defendant's banding pattern. They have so far tested and have spoken to the court about a spot of blood in the defendant's foyer at the, his foyer at his home in California, and also the blood drop trail at Bundy, which is the location of the murders, and that the more sophisticated method of DNA testing does indeed match blood at the scene with the blood DNA characteristics of O.J. Simpson. These are the assertions made by the prosecution in a motion to the judge. Of course, the prosecution and the defense going back and forth at this hearing about the method of the testing and which laboratory will conduct the testing. But again, preliminary testing, according to the prosecution in a court motion filed today, the DNA tests so far implicate the defendant. That's a quote from the motion filed today in Los Angeles. Now let's get back to the Little League World Series in Williamsport and Tim Brando.
Thanks very much here at the Little League World Series. A couple of crucial plays at the plate, Steve Garvey.
Very worrying, Chris. We're talking here about a good job defensively at first base with Brower. And this play is scooped up. He does a good job of blocking the plate and getting him out. Very crucial. Good job by Bradford.
Drew McKenna will lead it off, batting for Pat Hennon, the second baseman. Drew McKenna is the son of Steve McKenna, the manager of the team from Middleborough, Massachusetts. His lucky number, 4,382.
Got to be a reason for that.
It's either altitude or the number of people that saw their championship game.
That's right.
62 miles per hour, that last pitch from Paul Wisher. We're in the top of the fifth, and it's a 1-1 ball game. Middleborough, Massachusetts, and Central Springfield, Virginia. McKenna fouls it back up our way, and the count is 0-2. These teams are very deep, and we've already seen some pinch runners. And something to remember: a guy can pinch run, and then the position player can re-enter the game, stay in the ball game. That was the case with Tim Grant, the first baseman for Springfield, Virginia, in the last half inning. 0-2 to Drew McKenna. Breaking ball down in the dirt. That's the pitch you were talking about in the last half inning, Steve, that his release point had been a little too late, holding that ball a bit longer than he might.
Because he throws it three-quarter sidearm, if he releases it late, it's got to go down. You don't see him wild very often high. Let's take another look. He's down there. Another 45-foot slider curveball.
The 1-2. Missed away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McKenna.
Ball over the strike zone, but again down.
There's his mom, Peggy, looking on. Peg McKenna. Swinging strike 3, and Drew McKenna goes down. 1 down in the 5th.
Let's take a look at the batter. A little bit of an overstride, but causes you to drag the bat, plus the pitch being up, very tough to go up and get it.
Jay Cutsey, the center fielder, is up. You'll recall the run scored for Middleborough coming back in the 3rd got underway when Cutsey singled to left off the end of the bat, and a late breaking Matt Andrews couldn't get to it. That put runners at first and second, and then Soule's sac bunt led to Perry's ground out to the right side of the infield that allowed the run to score.
And up steps Cutsey, the smallest player on this East team, but 1 for 1 already, batting 1,000 in this first round of the Little League World Series. Good solid stance. Good balance, slightly closed. Bat pretty flat, good hitting position. Stays back well.
And makes good use of Middleborough. Coming back in the third, got underway when Cutsey singled to left off the end of the bat, and a late breaking Matt Andrews couldn't get to it. That put runners at first and second, and then Soul's sac bunt led to Perry's ground out to the right side of the infield that allowed the run to score.
And up steps Cutsey, the smallest player on this East team, but 1-for-1 already, batting 1,000 in this first round of the Little League World Series. Good solid stance, good balance, slightly closed. Bat pretty flat, good hitting position. Stays back well.
And makes good use of the sleight of size. He's worked the count to 3-0.
Great thing about baseball is size really doesn't make a difference. A lot of times, especially in Little League, a shorter player has a smaller strike zone and gets better pitches to hit. Look at the focus, the eyes, picking the ball up where it's released. There it is. There's the walk. Tough strike zone.
So he works the walk.
And he's happy.
And the top of the order coming up, Brandon Soul.
Pitch up high. Knew it was high. First base, 1 out.
Top of the order, Brandon Soul. That sacrifice bunt served his team well as he moved up the runners to second and third, back in the third.
Looks to the bench for the sign. Gives a fastball single finger indicator.
Grounded right back to short. Off the heel of the glove, trouble, and they're safe everywhere. Well, Ethan Lair had unassisted put out at second, and then the throw for the double play on his mind.
Ball hit hard. Hit in the heel of his glove. Spins around. Makes a good. Ooh, close play. Close play. Let's take a look again. Looks like he caught the ball before the runner touched the bag, but the umpire calls him safe. 1 out. Runners on first and second.
Christian Perry looks at the ball, 1-0. One out and 2 on. And Perry, a strikeout victim earlier today. At the plate. 206 feet to all parts of the ballpark. 204 feet to all parts of the ballpark. And this is a young man that has warning track and beyond power. He did swing and he's out. The runners advance to second and third. Boy, he just tried to put a bat on the ball, couldn't do it. A nice pitch from Wisher again. That breaking ball is staying down, and Malatino's having a very difficult time staying with it. That one hit the plate.
That's a tough one to stop right there because you're going down for the ball, then it kicks up over your head. But he hustled after it, kept the runners to second and third.
2 down, and Kevin Brower up. Deep and foul off the right field side. This is the part of the order, Brower and Brower, that has been a wrecking crew during the regional. 16 home runs in 14 games between the two of them.
I just had a feeling that time, Tim, that Brower was going to make contact. He's laid back now. He's seen Wisher before. First crucial batter-pitcher confrontation of the game.
And again, it stays low, and Malatino manages to get to it. But as the game progresses, it becomes increasingly obvious that the pass ball could be a real problem, even on a swinging strike 3 where they're only at 1 out.
Wisher looking around, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Malatino gives him the curveball sign.
Got him. That curveball wasn't in the dirt. Tremendous location. Wisher works out of it. We're still tied at 1. Middle of 5. South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the site of the Little League World Series, Lamatti Stadium. On a beautiful day, round 1, the qualifying round, coming up tonight. On ESPN2, it's the live call-in show, Talk To. A special version tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast, hosted by Jim Rome. Joe Dumars, recent Dream Team 2 winner, will be his guest. All you need to do is dial 1-800-98-TALK-2 with questions and comments tonight with Jim Rome. Well, I get homesick when I see young ladies that age.
The littlest cheerleader here at the Little League World Series. Mark Fackner concentrating before he gets up to the plate.
Fackner, the right fielder, stands in. One our score. A run on 1 hit and an error for Middleborough, Massachusetts. 1 run on 3 hits, 2 errors, but Wisher has managed to work his way out of it. A couple of strikeouts in the top half of the 5th to get out of it. Both pitchers have had command when they've needed to make the big pitch with men aboard.
And this is starting to get to be a crucial part of the game. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1-1 tie. If the South can score now, they can put the game away in the top of the 6th.
Fackner fouls it back up our way upstairs. 0-2 to him. Strikeout victim in the 1st. Received the free pass back in the 3rd. Outfield is deep and straight away for Fackner. Went and chased one. That's out of character for him, particularly with an 0-2 count. 1 down.
We'll take a look at Brower's high fastball this time. Fackner goes up the ladder, almost over his head. Can't be touched. 1 away.
Mike Fredo and Ethan Lair. Strong part of the order. Here's Lair.
Ball.
I like Lair's concentration, Tim. He's in this game. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to hit that ball hard. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a fielder's choice.
Carry the banner proudly. Fans from Central Springfield, Virginia. Right back up the box, a base hit.
That's what we're talking about.
Second hit of the day for Lair. Both of them right back up the middle. 1 in the 1st and now 1 here in the 5th. 1 on and 1 out. 67 miles per hour this fastball.
Talked about Lair being into the game. He really hits a good hard smash up the middle. Keeps that shoulder in, head on the ball. Good job of hitting.
Lair likely to pitch tomorrow in the round 2 game. Really doesn't matter who wins or loses. He's scheduled to go in the 2nd game. And Mike Fredo up. A double and a strikeout for Fredo. His double coming in the 1st. When Brower got out of that jam. 2nd and 3rd and 2 out.
Fredo with good power. Good-sized second baseman.
Fredo is also a youngster that could pitch. He could be used as a reliever or as a 3rd starter at this series.
Ball.
2 balls and a strike. 1 on with 1 out. Mike's parents, Frank and Jane, looking on. Jane a bit more pensive than Frank.
A few Our Fathers and Hail Marys going there.
Take a look. Did you see her? I mean, it was as if
Come on, Mike. Big hitter.
she was squeezing the rosary as he took this swing.
Good pitch to hit right there. Fastball. That's concentration. She's talking to him. Okay, get him next time.
So a couple of strikeouts for Brower, with Lair's base hit sandwiched between. 2 down now here in the inning.
Upright hitting approach. Just goes under that pitch. Pitch was about letter high, but strike 3.
Matt Andrews up with 2 down, and Lair still hanging on at first. There's a delayed steal by Lair. He's in there.
Good job. Good aggressive move by the South.
He caught Bradford sleeping with a nonchalant throw back to his pitcher.
Takes his time. There's the time to break when he's casually throwing back. The throw down to second base, not in time. And the new Rogers bags used for this Little League World Series, new breakaway bag for the safety protection of the players, works. Being put back in now. The old bags used to tend to be stationary, and a lot of times you'd have the sprained or broken ankles. These bags are high-tech. They break away, protecting the runner's ankles and knees and feet.
Okay? Take Kate.
But you had to expect that they might do something here in the 5th.
Base hit, son. Base hit.
Go to the replay. See, that's when you go, when he's casually tossing it back. Very tough for the pitcher to turn around and get it there in time. As the bag breaks away, protecting the runner. Okay. Now let's see. When does he go? He easily walks off. He sees him start with the arm motion forward. Then he goes. That's good timing. Very good. Good slide.
With a 1-run game, perhaps being the difference, and you're batting in the bottom of the inning with an opportunity to close it out, you're going to do anything you can to manufacture yourself a run.
Got to be aggressive. The pitching's too good to not want to take the extra base and not want to do something special like the steal.
Andrews chops it foul past Jim Hamilton at third, the manager of the Springfield, Virginia team, and the count is 1-1. 2 down, with Lair down at second after a base hit and a delayed steal to second.
The more pressure you can put on the defense at this level, the more successful you're going to be.
2 down, a runner at second. Matthew Andrews at the plate. Off-speed pitch. Absolutely had Andrews fooled.
Good curveball, hanging just a little bit, but breaking down through the strike zone, making it strike 2. Let's take a look again. Throws it up. A little bit of changeup more that time. Looked like a 3-fingered changeup.
Yep.
Very good.
The 1-2. Strikeout victim number 6, recorded by Brower as he gets out of it yet again. Lair left lingering at second. We've played 5 full. Round 1 of the Little League World Series. Exciting, isn't it? A pitcher's duel here at the Little League World Series, and there has been a programming change here on ESPN immediately following our game. You'll see the Busch Grand National Detroit Gasket 200 that we could not show you due to rain on Saturday. That coming up immediately following our game. Brandon Brower will lead it off here in the 6th with a 1-1 ball game. Paul Wisher, tall, rangy right-hander on the mound, 10 strikeouts. Has relinquished 3 walks through the course of the day. Fought himself in the middle innings, but managed to come out of it. If the breaking ball just stays up high enough, he should be okay.
2 things could happen to him. Number 1, if he stays too much with the breaking ball, he's going to get hurt. He's bound to hang one, especially to this 4th, 5th, and 6th hitter. That fastball was 64. There's the grip. Looks more like a curveball grip. He's down on that one.
And that's what's been happening with that curveball. More oftentimes than not, Malatino has been struggling to keep the ball in front of him. And if the runner is on, particularly at third late in the game, it bears watching.
Malatino going to the fastball. Good sequence. You know, even with a 1-hitter, Tim, he's thrown a lot of pitches.
Yeah,
That's what you have to be concerned about. Number 1, the amount of physical exertion along with the amount of mental exertion in this first-round game with a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. So got to be careful now that he doesn't hang a pitch, doesn't throw one over the heart of the plate.
Dugout.
This is the 6th inning, top of the 6th. The East up.
Ball.
There's the ball getting away from Malatino again. You can see his complaints about the release point of the breaking ball and how it has been giving him fits. I talked with the coaching staffs of both teams about pitch counts, Steve, and it is generally perceived that 90 to 95 pitches is a lot at the Little League level.
Very much so. These are young, developing arms.
You think you can go with this batter to strikes? Huh? You can't. Let me know now. You want to come out? Okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's try. We'll give you a shot.
Okay, the big word that time is I think I can do it.
Yeah.
Either I can do it. It's a little hesitant.
Yeah, it makes you believe that Malatino at the very least will be calling for number 1 a few more times than number 2 in this sequence.
Number 2's been in the dirt. I'm talking about the curveball.
This is a power hitter. Brandon Brower leads this team in home runs.
Hitters count 3-1.
Pretty good location with that heat on the outside portion of the plate. He didn't give it to him over the fat portion.
Now Wisher's saying to himself, do I go back to the curveball that I used effectively in the first 3 innings, or do I go to the fastball that I've been able to get over the plate?
He wants number 1.
Gives him Powder River.
Right in front of third. The throw. In time. Nice stretch by Grant at first. But an even better throw from Wisher, coming off the mound, getting his feet stationary, and firing the ball to Grant.
Wisher hustling and showing a strong arm. The question is he out or safe? The wet ground, slow the ball down, throws off the back foot. We look at first base. I think his foot was on the bag before the ball got there. This is the telltale. He's safe to me, Tim.
Yep. First base umpire Bill Mayo giving no doubt with the call.
But you know what? The game's played by human beings, and it should be umpired by human beings.
There you see the pitch count. It's 79. And I would venture to say over 2/3 of the balls that we've seen have been the breaking balls that have gotten away from.
I'd bet you 26 of those 28 balls were breaking balls.
Yep. 1 down and nobody on. Bradford with a weak wave at that one. And the count is 0-2.
Tim, we're going back to the replay now. Let's see if this ball is a fair or foul ball. Let's take a look at it.
Oh, it should have been a foul.
Should have been a foul. Unless it caught the corner of the plate, but it looks like it caught all dirt.
Oh, he punched him out with an off-speed pitch in on the hands. And Bradford sits down. 2 gone.
A backup breaking ball. It'll get you every time. Let's take a look now where this pitch was. He checks himself right over the inside corner of the plate. Great pitch by Wisher. 2 away.
Hey.
Steve McKenna, the
I did.
coach of this club, will now have an opportunity to make a change, and it appears that he will. John Hebert re-enters the game, and you'll recall Hebert started the game, then left the game in favor of Tyler Leroy. Since that time, Nardi moved into left field, and this is again one of the differences at the Little League level. You can re-enter a game a second time. Hebert a better hitter than fielder, though that swing would not make one believe that offense is the reason this change has been made.
Well, you don't want him finishing square to the pitcher.
No balls and 1 strike. 2 down in the top of the 6th. Boy, he overpowered him with that high heat. 0-2.
Hebert going up there swinging, but not very picky as far as the ball being over the plate or not.
Lenora, yeah. 3 pitches and an out. And Wisher records strikeout number 11. We're rolling along at the Little League World Series. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 6th inning. The game could be won right here. It's a 6-inning game at the Little League level. This is the qualifying round of the 48th renewal of the Little League World Series. Tim Brando and Steve Garvey, happy to have you with us. A quick program note, immediately following our game, you'll see the Busch Grand National Detroit Gasket 200 that unfortunately we couldn't show you on ESPN back on Saturday due to rain. Well, that's coming up immediately following our game.
Sudden death situation, Tim. Bottom of the 6th inning. 1 run by the South wins it. And a good, hard-fought game.
Timmy
Good pitching game.
Timmy Grant will lead it off. And on the hand, serve to short. Soul's throw in time.
Good job by Soul that time on a bad hop. He had to take it off his elbow, and good strike to get him. Let's watch this. Hits the edge, comes up, he stays with it, finds the grip on the ball, fires a strike for out number 1.
That had trouble written all over it, didn't it?
All over. Stayed with it.
So often you figured the ball could come up, get him on the heel of the glove. Eric Miller, nicknamed Mr. Cool, has already been a part of some run scoring in this game. We've only had 2 of them scored, and he was very much a part of that when he doubled to left in the 2nd. Also involved with some fine defensive play. That fastball from Kevin Brower, 65 miles per hour.
Overhead cam sees it just outside, but he called it a strike.
Miller generally has the type of bat control, according to his coaches, that could take the outside pitch the opposite way.
Already has a slashing double left center, but Brower throwing 65.
Yeah, he's got a little more giddy up on his fastball here in the late going.
Reminds me of the power pitchers that start out slowly and just keep building. That was the fastest pitch he's thrown today at 67 miles per hour. Over in power and north.
7th strikeout recorded by Brower. Roberto Carrero swinging strike 1. Carrero 0 for 2 today, a strikeout, and the fielder's choice to plate the lone run of the game for the youngsters from Virginia. Boy, how proud these towns must be of their youth. Central Springfield, Virginia, as we said, coming out of the losers bracket to win the South Regional past Florida. That's the East Regional fans from Middleborough, Mass. That's the first ever state title for them this year.
That pitch was 69 miles per hour.
The 0-2. Yeah, I'd say he's reaching back.
I think Kevin Brower is going to break 70 before this game's over. This inning, he's really reached back and got some extra speed.
Roberto Carrero says he would love to be an historian. That's his career goal. This is his opportunity to make some of his own history at the college and Little League level. It's all in front of him, and from a defensive standpoint, this youngster has already proven that he's got all that's necessary.
Carrero, good young player. This 2-2 count. This is a crucial pitch in this game.
High and deep to center, but it stays in the yard. We're going to extra innings in game 1 of our fortnight of coverage here on ESPN. Somehow, that was the way it should have been. He got the pitch right where he wanted it, but I don't know that the fat part of the bat hit it.
Brower throws the heat. Carrero has good backspin, hits down through it. The ball drifts back 3 feet from a home run. And Jake Cutsey is camped under it for out number 3.
How close this game can be, and the youngsters all excited about the play in center field.
There's our gutsy player right there. Maybe the smallest player on the field may have the biggest heart.
Fans on their feet listening to a little Fogarty.
Cute cheerleaders for the East.
It's really ironic that the East team from Middleborough, Massachusetts, they normally would wear orange. Those are their home colors when playing in the state of Massachusetts. Yet here today, the fans are in orange, but the opposition is in orange. The burnt orange of the South against the scarlet of the East in Middleborough. We're tied at 1 in extra innings, top of the 7th, and Joe Moles leading it off against Paul Wisher. Right back up the middle. Tough chance for Lair, and he can't come up with it.
Lair did a good job of getting a glove on the ball, but the ball comes up. It usually hits the last part of the grass on this infield and comes up. Little lip on the infield. Here it comes. Hits the end, comes up. He almost fields it cleanly, but can't. Got to give him a hit on that.
If the bag were not there, I think he makes the play. I think
you got to be concerned about tripping over that bag.
So Moles is aboard with an infield hit. Just the second of the day against Wisher.
Hey, quick.
And we'll have a pinch runner. Mike Finch will come into the game to run for Knowles. Remember, he could re-enter the game, though, being pinch run for here in this inning. Cannon looking to drop down the butt.
As we talked before, this is a game in which defense is going to make the difference. In an extra inning game, you want to put as much pressure on the defense as possible.
Pat Hennon left the game for a pinch hitter, Drew McKenna, in his last at bat, but then moved back out to second base. He received a walk back in the third. 1 on, nobody out. Finch, the runner, down at first. They play for the 1. Wisher makes the only play to first, 1 down, but the job well done by Hennon.
Good job of sacrifice bunting, getting the runner in scoring position, 1 down in the top of the 7th. Let's take a look at the bunting technique. Good job. Punching right into that soggy dead area of the infield.
How many times after a play is made defensively, though it was not a great play, it was an emotional catch because he was at the wall. Here's Jacob Cutsey, the 9th hole hitter, in a position to play the role of hero. Takes a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1.
Jake with 2 at-bats so far, 1 single, 1 base on ball. We talked about the smaller man with the big heart.
The 0-1. To left. Andrews over, makes the grab. 2 down. Finch still at second. There'll be another chance, Jacob. Brandon Soule coming up. Mike Finch representing the winning run. Down at second. Soule is 0 for 2, but does have a sac bunt today. Takes the ball low.
Wisher going back to more fastballs. He's had trouble keeping that breaking ball in the strike zone. Catcher gives a sign. Goes to the changeup.
Late in the game, particularly in a second or third at bat, you'd think that we'd see more batters sit on the breaking ball or perhaps the straight change, but to this point we haven't. The nerves, of course, such a great part of the Little League World Series. They're only 10 to 12 to 13 years old of age.
This is where you see the personality of the players, Tim. Who wants to be up there in this situation? Who wants to win the game? Or who is afraid of failure? Who's afraid to not get a hit? You can see it in the eyes. You can see it in the aggressiveness of the swing.
The 2-1.
Got to keep that front shoulder in. No way you can make contact when that front shoulder flies out. Let's take a look at the front shoulder and the head. See, head's in there, but the shoulder's out a little bit. You got to go after that ball. It's away from the plate. I'd move up a little bit more on the plate now. The whole outside is open.
2-2. That's his 93rd pitch. That's his 12th strikeout. The emotions run high in South Williamsport, PA, and we're only at day 1. Bottom half of the 7th in what's supposed to be a 6-inning game, but we're tied 1-1. The South with 4 hits in the game, but a couple of costly errors as well. 1-2-1 for the East. Tim Brando along with Steve Garvey. Once this is done, we'll have a programming change here on ESPN. Those of you that love auto racing, you'll get the Busch Grand National Detroit Gasket 200 that unfortunately, because of rain, we were unable to show you on Saturday. All of that coming up as soon as we're done here. And we're not done with day 1 of our coverage on the Deuce tonight. The United States will be featured again as the West takes on the Central. Northridge, California, and Minnesota will be on display tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Paul Wisher, who has pitched a gem, stands in to open the bottom of the 7th and bunts it foul.
Kevin Brower, 78 pitches today, 55 strikes, 22 balls, good ratio, 2 strikes to 1 ball.
I think you'd have to agree that
Let's go now.
even though Wisher has the more impressive numbers with strikeouts to balls, the ratio in terms of his power pitching today, advantage goes to Brower in terms of number of pitches and the fact that Wisher's relied so heavily on that curve.
Brower much more under control today. Much better fastball. Has more strength left than I would think Wisher would have at this
You can
time.
do it, Paul. You can do it, son.
You're hearing Jim Hamilton's voice, the manager of this club down on the third base side, talking to Wisher. Interestingly, as he went in during the half-inning break, he asked Wisher, says, how do you feel? And then as soon as he got his response, he asked Eric Miller to start loosening, who could come in as a relief pitcher if he gets into trouble in the 8th.
Well, if we remember Wisher before, when he was asked, can you get this guy out? He says, I think I can, but he was only good for 1 more inning.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th.
Nothing bad. In your zone, you hit it. You hit it, Paul. You got to protect, son.
Let's take a look now at this 2-2 pitch. Tailing inside makes it a full count. Nobody out. South in a sudden death situation.
Oh, they punched him out. Inside corner at the knees. No one could blame Wisher on that one. That was just unhittable.
Similar pitch, but more over the strike zone. Let's take a look now. This pitch from our overhead cam. Oh, could have caught the inside of the plate. Looks like it was inside to me, though, Tim.
It would be fair to say that Wilfredo Alicea's strike zone has been on the liberal side today.
It was big from the first pitch. But that's okay, as long as the umpire establishes the strike zone and stays with it. That's the key. If you ask any batter, if they fluctuate, then it really throws the hitter off. If they're consistent, then you know where to swing and not when to swing.
Malatino looks at a strike. Patrick Malatino has hit the ball in each at bat relatively well, but right at people. He's been hitting in some tough luck today. This is the best pure hitter on the club, a club that has a lot of depth. He has a very nice swing. He's a singles hitter, and that's all Jim Hamilton wants here.
Here's our first base line camera. Good shot watching that fastball tail in. Malatino backing away. That pitch makes it 3-1. There's 1 out. Malatino working very hard today. Stopped a lot of pitches with his body. Very gutsy young player. 3-1 counts. No sign. This must be a fastball.
And he laces it to left. And a diving stab made in left field.
Great job of focusing on this line drive, and at the last second diving to catch it, securing it with 2 hands. Stretch Malatino. They contact all day long, hits a line shot to left. He's watching it all the way. There it is, focus. Atta boy, 2 hands after the pitch, after the ball.
Ryan Fitzgerald, who had just come into the game defensively. You'll remember Hebert came back into the game. Tyler Leroy had been out there. This is the 3rd left fielder that we've had during the course of this game. So a nice move by Coach Steve McKenna to get him out there. 2 down and nobody on. Back up the middle. And a nice catch in center by Cutsy to end the inning yet again. So Mark Fackner laces it as well. Brower didn't have him popping up, but he got him out. And we're headed to the 8th. That's City of Roses in Portland, Oregon, the Oregon Golf Club. And you'll be able to see the 1994 Fred Meyer Challenge live on ESPN. 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 on the Pacific Coast. Paul Azinger will be there. So will Freddie Couples, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer. Your gracious host is Peter Jacobson. Elkington and Pertzer will also be on display. And even basketball coaches like P.J. Carlissimo. What more do you want? The Fred Meyer Challenge today and tomorrow on ESPN. The East from Middleborough, Massachusetts. And the South from Central Springfield, Virginia. Underway and in extra innings in this qualifying round 1 game here from Lamade Stadium in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Tim Brando, Steve Garvey, happy to have you with us. And immediately following our game, it's the Busch Grand National Detroit Gasket 200. Soon as we conclude here.
Relax, Paul, relax.
Christian Perry will lead it off here in the 8th against Paul Wisher, whose pitch count is up in the mid-90s as we start the 8th.
We thought Wisher may be taken out this inning, but he's back out there. All depend on his control.
Fly ball into left and high. Andrews camps under it. 1 down. Look at that, 95 pitches. But give the young man credit. Every time he's needed the strikeout, he's come up with it.
We talked about the character of these 2 teams, and these 2 teams led by their pitchers, Brower and Wisher. Wisher fighting back, just as Tim mentioned. Good ratio of strikes to balls, 2-1. Now facing his opposite. 1 out.
Kevin Brower takes a ball inside.
Tim, I like the way Brower approaches the pitch. Good bat position. Good, strong young man for his age. Keeps the bat in his fingers. That way he can really use all the strength in his forearms.
In on the hands, backing up initially was Miller, but he comes in to make the catch. 2 gone. Boy, at the crack of the bat, it's so easy with the aluminum to automatically think it's going places and then have to come in. And given the state of the outfield and how wet and tough sledding it is, we might have a few more that are mishandled out there.
Brower that time jammed on the pitch, or he would have hit it at least 250 feet over center field. Ball a little bit in on it.
Miller, by the way, the center fielder, could possibly be the reliever in this game. Steve, I thought we had a chance.
We're going to get one at least.
Yeah.
Today. At least one a day.
Yeah.
Should have brought my mitt. Of course, you were a slick fielding first baseman coming up as a youngster. I heard all about you.
At my level, though. Only at my level.
Wisher still focused. Probably getting the ball over the plate much better now in the 8th inning than he was in the 5th and 6th.
Brandon Brower is a very dangerous hitter. Without question, the most dangerous for Wisher to face. A fastball up over the plate and it could be gone. That one scooped up by Malatino, who has been a quality catcher today from a defensive standpoint.
Watch how he turns the mitts, mid around, scoops it up. Good job. It's a major league scoop right there.
Curveball catches the outside corner at the knees, 1-2.
On speed, relax, have fun.
Brandon Brower, you'd think down in the count would anticipate breaking ball now.
A curveball, perfect spot, low and away. Now with the count 1-2. Brower has power.
There it was, and there he went. Wisher with his 14th strikeout of the afternoon. 1-1 our score. Little League World Series action continues. Day 1, Game 2, and it's on to ESPN 2, The Deuce at 7 Eastern Time, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and Northridge, California. What a magnificent story for those youngsters, enduring what they had to endure earlier this year domestically. Galvanized that entire community. They're going to try to shake the earth here in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. 1-1 our score here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tim Brando, Steve Garvey, happy to have you with us. And Central Springfield, Virginia is batting with an opportunity to nail it down. Ethan Lair, who has 2 hits on the afternoon, stands in.
And Brower throwing harder than ever. Has gained speed on that fastball over the last 3 innings.
2 for 3, and Lair reached on a fielder's choice. So he's had the most productive day of any batter participating in this game in what has been a wire-to-wire pitcher's duel. Boy, that's just a nice piece of hitting.
Nice piece of hitting and a very good 3-finger changeup.
Yeah.
Good location. Hitter went out and hit it down the first baseline just foul.
Steve, I think that's the first example of a batter waiting and sitting on a particular pitch.
He lifts that leg up and just goes with the pitch. Tries to hit it where it's pitched. Great philosophy. We always teach the kids to try to hit it hard through the middle.
Chop foul.
These pitchers can only pitch 9 innings. Let's take a look at this again. Lifts the leg up, really uses his legs well, goes down after the ball. Good technical hitter.
Down in the count now, 0-2.
We get back to the bottom of the 8th inning now. Sudden death situation for the South. If they score, they win.
Deep left center field, and it is gone.
It's out of here.
The ball game is over.
Yeah! Only took one, baby. It only took one.
The biggest thrill in that young man's life.
Ethan Lair on pitch number 99 from Kevin Brower goes deep to left center and out of the ballpark to win it for the South from Central Springfield, Virginia.
We'll take a look at the pitch one more time. Brower the upper 60s, throws about a 68-mile-an-hour fastball. As we said all day, good mechanics. Watch the head, watch the bat speed, gets the legs going, drives the ball. He knows it has a chance. That's euphoria right there. He can see it. He thinks it might be gone. Everything stands still. He watches it all the way. And now he knows it's gone. He lifts the arm up. It's a game winner. He tips his hat. What a moment for this young man.
The head coach, Jim Hamilton, bringing him in a la Leo DeRocher with all the excitement that any third base coach could possibly have. Blair goes 3 for 4, and guess what? He'll pitch in the winner's bracket game tomorrow. The winner of the West and the Central, which play tonight on ESPN2. For Steve Garvey and our entire crew, this is Tim Brando saying so long from South Williamsport. The South, a 2-1 winner.